Welcome, everybody, to Mud Flood Was Armageddon on April Fool's Day. Mud Flood was Armageddon. And then there was the reaping, too. I've seen people asking, it seems like there was a couple of mud floods. Well, the mud flood was Armageddon. The reaping was whatever happened at the end of the 1,000 years. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. Thank you for some links to look at, Brother Randy. How are you?
Yeah, it's a new morning, more blessings. Yeah, nothing to complain about here. Uh, yeah, bring it on. Bring on April. Fool or no fool?
You ever, I don't recommend that many movies to you, but they got this free movie on the YouTube thing. You ever hear of the 12 Monkeys?
I'm not familiar with it.
You're not.
When was it released?
It was released in the year 1995.
Okay, been around a while.
Now, I've seen it a number of times. I've slowed it down. I just want to read you. These are the famous movie stars Bruce Willis, and this is the famous Brad Pitt. This is Kevin Costner. I'm just kidding. I don't know who that guy is. But there's the swastika. This film is something that you could enjoy because it just goes from one antique castle to another antique castle, and they all have, you know, this is called a meander, but it's a swastika. Won't work. You can't open it. He's talking about the window. You think you can remove the grill, but you can't. It's welded. This is the famous actor here. See, the doors are locked. They're protecting people on the outside from us when people on the outside are as crazy as us. Uh, he's going to prove he's crazy. So there's this one speech that everyone needs to hear because they decode things. They say they put it out there, and we're supposed to learn from it. So this is your first time, and I realize. Do you know what crazy is? Crazy is majority rules. Yeah, because he take germs for example. Germs, yes. In the 1700s, no such thing. Nada, nothing. No one even imagined such a thing. No sane person, anyway. Along comes this doctor, Samuel Webb. Come on, beat it out of your head. Samuel Weiss? I've done a couple of shows on him. Samuel Weiss comes along and he tries to convince people, other doctors, that there were these tiny invisible things, bad things called germs that get into your body and make you sick. He's trying to get the doctors to wash their hands. This guy's crazy, teeny weeny invisible. What'd you call them? Germs. Now cut to the 1900s, 1995. Last week, as a matter of fact, before I got dragged into this hellhole, I go to order a burger in this fast food joint. The guy drops it on the floor. Jim, he picks it up, wipes it off, hands it to me like it was all okay. What about the germs? I say. He says, I don't believe in germs. Germs are just a plot to made up so they can sell disinfectants and soaps. See, he's crazy, right? Okay, that's crazy. And so the freaked out boy freaks out. He goes, there's no right, there's no wrong, there's only popular opinion. You believe in germs, right? I'm not crazy, he says. Of course not. You want to escape, right? That's very sane. He's thinking, I can help you. You want me to help you? Get you out, right? You know how to get out of here? Crazy. Yes, my son. Why don't I try to escape? That's what you're going to ask. Good question. Very good question. Intelligent. Because I would be crazy to escape. I've sent out word. I'm all taken care of. He goes, what does that mean? I've managed to contact certain underlings, evil spirits, secretaries of secretaries, and other assorted minions who will contact my father. And when my father finds out I'm in this kind of place, he'll have them transfer me to one of those classy joints where they treat you properly, like a person, a guest, with sheets and towels, like a big hotel, with great drugs for all of us nutcases, lunatic, manic devils. So it's the germ thing. And the guy was trying to get them to wash their hands. This is a movie about people who are trying to be rescued, that the world is going to die in 1996. And he goes out into the world and, finds out that the 12 monkeys. And so it's just a show that is, a time travel movie. Was in, has a time travel, references a lot of different things. I'm just thinking, we're living it, they're showing it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So I'm not sure this Terry Gilliam, but he was a Monty Python person.
Well,
So
so he's had some experience with humor.
yeah, he's had there's
Probably.
this one scene in here where he talks about we're all consumers. Uh,
Oh yeah, and a lot of it has to do with automobile transportation. If you caught my theme.
no, wait, break it out. I'm trying to hear that one here. Is this what the
Well, I sent you a few flicks about the inner city, how they tear up cities to put in highways, but for no real advantage, more to make the poor people poorer. And then, the cost of a vehicle.
I
And
only got this morning time to watch the one about the most
and then
remote
them
infrastructure.
islands where they're putting, they put in all them tunnels, and it's for, transportation with a vehicle. It's not, subway tunnels or whatever, it's for the individual with their
You
own.
spend years.
I've heard about these and seen, they tear apart cities, they use the highway for 2 or 3 years, then shut it down and go, it's not didn't help as much as we thought.
But they've destroyed all the, what was there as a community. They've leveled the homes, have taken out the businesses. Now there's less people there, and for now there's reason for less business. It's an interesting when you go to break it down and cause an effect. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah, have you
didn't.
ever been to a Bucky's gas station where they
Oh
got
my goodness, yeah.
they're ginormous.
I've had the
No semis welcome. It's RVs and pick 'em up
oh
trucks and
yeah.
campers and
Take leave your credit card in the car because they have all those tourist, souvenirs, and you can get your Bucky's t-shirt. Where I was
oh, it's
staying
a
there,
Bucky's everything at a Bucky's,
yeah, they
fuel
had
stop.
in Texas. It's big. They're
It
everywhere.
originated, family owned, from Texas, but yeah, they're going uh nationwide here.
Did you see? Well, do you want to talk about any more of these? What about the other ones?
Well, it's just that there's the cost of having, your own transportation, your own vehicle, whatever you choose, and what that represents. Both, if you can pedal your bike to the store, but the stores with the big parking lots, that's all part of the whatever they're selling, whatever you're buying, you're paying for all that convenience, of traveling in your own vehicle, and it's a huge expenditure on both ends for them, providing the ability to park in front of their, whatever store that may be, and then the person, the consumer, with their vehicle and fuel and insurance and maintenance, parking.
Right. Insurance is the big one, right? Because one time,
Well,
one
that's
accident,
on anything.
I'll bet you your parents were going crazy with your insurance rates as a young man with the race cars and everything else. So yeah, you can tell it messed up the entire city.
And then they put in a through fare, only to abandon it, within a decade because, yeah,
Didn't work.
they
Right.
made a
Hey,
mess out of something. They, to travel just a few blocks, lickety split, versus just going through the downtown, and maybe you need some one-way streets to get the flow, to
I
maintain
know
the flow.
that one of the you might find this interesting. I think it was some tunnels around Philadelphia, but it must have been one of the first ones that they cleaned out and got fixed up for cars, because they found it and they said, "Oh, let's
Yeah.
use it." And it was straight downhill and then into the tunnel, which would have worked out good, except in the 1930s, those brakes failed on their new semis, their new 18 wheelers, and it caused tremendous amount of deaths of people who lost control and just straight down into the tunnel. So we have seen that they do with their medicines, because there was the one medicine that made children blind and be born without, it starts with a F or something, but I used to know it,
That the
and
mothers took.
that the mothers took. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. But take a second to say welcome to
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while for them to do the analysis on the cause and effect, or they're backwards in, what made the effect of the child being blind, and the cause was, yeah,
that
yeah,
they rushed in a medicine
that
that
was doing
that
all the damage. Yeah.
you know the proof of the theology that there was a recent reset, and doggone it, complacency. Our grandparents had to know something. I mean, it's a broken record. They're covering up the apartheid of the United States, that we weren't the good guys. The last couple of years, how they faked the math. There are no atomic weapons, of course, that there is no globe. It's all, yeah,
Well, yeah,
thalidomide.
they're in control of all the education, and whether it's done publicly or privately, everybody's teaching out of the same books. And then, yeah, you got maybe that, like you said, the morality base when it came to the homeschooling, but they were still teaching the same nonsense.
Nationalism.
They had the patriotism thing, maybe somewhat uh, in there as well. But yeah, it's all scripted, BS for sure.
Well, it was really important, and I know you were pretty busy yesterday. You probably didn't get to see any of the show I did
I
last night.
I did catch what you did put out, and
I think that, I'm not going to make it a big deal, but the father has shown me, that people aren't going to just step up and want to debate, about, oh, you think you discovered this. No, I can prove that the Lord showed me this and chart it, through almost 8,000 videos that, that started and ended. And I can't pretend anymore that it's not going to work out. That, the trouble I've had with this school, and, at least I'm going to get 9 credits this time, but I'm fighting another class. And, but I know that's going to work out too, because this end is written from the beginning. We It doesn't matter, and I'm more convinced than ever that I'd rather talk to the 150 that, like, unless I put out an attention grabbing, Tartarian mud floods surprise of the year, then maybe I get 400. But it's changed the world. The the theology is all we ever wanted was out there, a systematic theology about the millennial reign. I kind of got after, the Lord put 4 people, in my wheelhouse. I don't have time to see all the other 100 millennial reigners out there, but Theron from the Toad House, Paul from Understanding Conspiracy, Shelley, and then, somebody else. And if Shelley, the homeschool mom, it's been a year and she's still struggling in her videos. Well, I'm millennial and froze millennial. I'm just not sure. After a year, you're still not sure, and you're still teaching the millennial reign's a big deal. Maybe we should go to the North Pole. Maybe you should find out the terms you use. Instead of, people have turned this theology into a way they make their living. The new guy is like the banana sandwich boy, the guy from behind the veil that all of a sudden he comes out and he fits the, you know, the the backward cap, long hair. I'm full of tattoos, but God loves me. And now he's announced that this is his full-time job. God has brought him to the millennial reign to be a full-time teacher of it. He's had a vision of the 2 witnesses. It involves the April 8th thing. And I'm just letting it all go, Randy, because history will show we have seen these guys come and go.
Well,
But
and it's taught some patience
yes,
also. It's God's timeline, and you're familiar with it enough where you know what it is. So I mean, yeah, not that it isn't exciting, but it isn't like you know the big event is going to happen, next
well,
week or
comment on
uh,
this. Comment on this, Randy. There is a gut feeling going around that this is different than, because we had a lot of traction in 2019. The whole movement started then. The jab and all of the mRNA set the whole movement back. But that's all God's timing. It happened to the world. But, we have to move on now, knowing that this is true, knowing you're in a safe place. I'm in a safe place. If other people are watching from the suburb of New York City, gosh, it seems like you're a dead man walking. Something's
well,
going
yeah,
to,
when it comes to whatever you want to, the weekly or the monthly or quarterly, events that just keep up that anxiety level, for those that are distracted by them. And then it's the same, doom and gloom. The economy is crashed, and it's every man for themselves, and it's like we had seen, and where it's what is it, the trash and grab.
What's it?
Uh,
What's that? Trash and grab? You mean
well, we're
smash and grab? I've heard of that.
okay. Well, say
Is
smash
it?
and grab trash. We're pardon, where the mobs come into
Oh yeah,
whatever store, and then head out with whatever they've
everything
confiscated.
from
And
the makeup to the cigarettes to the milk. Just steal the whole store. And
it
if there's 100 perpetrators, what are you going to do? Yeah,
and
things
then and
crazy.
then you have what's been going on, where uh retailers leaving, closing their doors. Yeah, who needs to set themselves up for that sort of failure if society isn't doing anything about it, including the policing of what's going on, that's totally illegal, and but that's just the happenings of the now, the current. Then you have big boats crashing into
Oh,
infrastructure, and causing havoc that way. And then you got the whole scope of
right.
what did happen, what didn't happen,
Right. We got
but
the
it was
eclipse coming. I mean, everybody feels it.
totally unavoidable. Yeah, certain stuff happens regardless of what your opinion is, for sure. And it's trying
All
times.
right. And
Yeah.
we can wait. I'm going forward knowing that if I made all of these plans and I talked about all of this and here's what it looks like, martial law is coming. Martial law is
but,
coming. Martial
but
law
I
is
did forward, the guy that liked, and he was the content provider of that truth bomb, of a few days ago. And he was, he's a black guy. And I don't know if you opened that one,
not yet.
and went to his, where it's posted. And this would have been maybe 4 or 5 days ago when
Then I
I
did see
posted.
it. I'm all excited and because Vara is going to come on the show and give us an update about what's going on in Finland here in about 20 minutes.
Oh,
So that should be pretty good. Show me the video. Which one are you talking about?
uh,
What was the name of it? Because
I
this
would,
one was good. The Colorado.
yeah, that was further back. I would have just sent it within the last couple days, if not yesterday, maybe the 30th. But it might, let me let me look when I sent it to you.
There's the truth bomb.
Oh, it would have been Capo for Christ loves your comment, and that was
Right.
yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, there's the truth bomb.
And then if you go to his channel, to his home page, you can see he'll be standing there talking. If you go, to his channel, and there he is. That's the dude.
He's a big fella, huh?
Yeah, he, I don't know exact. Yeah, I would say he's
My credibility as a minister.
larger than I am.
I was reassured, however, that this testimony will show the transformative power of Jesus Christ. You must know that I am not reveling nor boasting in my past wickedness, but simply showing and testifying of who I was before the Most High God showed me
But
his
he's kind
grace.
of like a whistleblower type
Yeah.
Uh,
You sure got the,
character.
this is what people, got 4,700 views, when he's normally getting about 100, 200, kind of around in the range I am. But, you know, this, it's probably pretty good, otherwise he'd be getting 100,000. He's probably not, because it all comes down to, Brother Randy, like I said, we've been doing this for years. The same challenges out there. I mentioned it in the show last night. 2015, 2016, there were people talking, it was called blood over intent. They were going to cut their hand, use that blood to write a thank you, Jesus, for forgiving my sins. And then if you took that letter and threw it into a hole where the North Pole was, all your prayers would be answered, and that's how you were saved. And 2024, there's people wanting to go to the North Pole because there's glorified saints somewhere. And it's been years now, and when the new people keep coming in, I go, where is your glorified saint verse? Because it's not there in the Hebrew, like the Gibborim, the mighty men of old, the Nephilim. 9 times out of 10, a Gibborim is a good guy. So the whole movement of the North Pole, oh my goodness, the bloodline, there is not one Bible verse that says that Jesus is going to reign with super saints, because there's no word for super saints who live 1,000 years and don't die. But they will not. Those 4 people, the banana sandwich boy, Theron, Paul, and Shelley, they won't look it up and go, he keeps saying there's no verse, and I think that's rude. He's known to be a mean guy. And I'm going like, show me one verse. Don't say, don't tell me that Zechariah is going to stand on the earth and the mountain will be split. That's not saying that Jesus is ruling from Jerusalem for 1,000 years with super saints.
Yeah.
What is that noise? Is that me? I think I have it.
Okay.
Oh, that's a phone call or something.
7-layer salad.
That might be behind me.
Okay.
Okay. It'll be I'll be there by 9.
I have stalled it, but it actually slingshot. Where it goes, only God knows. I'll show. I watched on my history. It should come right up.
Yeah, that isn't totally settled either. Yeah,
What is not totally settled?
the whole the pandemic.
Yeah. No, it is not.
That's still a work in progress.
So I will.
That guy right there. That was a good. I watched. Yeah.
Yep. The facts is that people are, something's up and it's going to hurt. And
yeah. Will anybody be prosecuted? Yeah, unlikely. But at least the information is there, or enough of it.
So I went over this, here's all your mighty men of valor. I made a big point last night of showing, that 9 out of 10 times you want to be a Gibberine. A few times they mention, descendants will become mighty on the earth. There's like I showed, there's 3 mentions of Nimrod, who was becoming a mighty man, but they're the Nephilim are not clowns, nor are they fallen angels or anything else, according to most of these verses. before we move on, I want to do the same thing with, the book of Revelation, of when it talks about, well, if they won't debate me, let's just put the straw man up there, because it's talking about, this camp of the saints. And I think in the itchy ear crowd, until somebody says, here's the verse that proves it, we have to consider, that the word used in the context for saints would tell us if they're superhuman people that get to live with Jesus while he's reigning in a fake town called Jerusalem. And what in the world is a North Pole anyway? Isn't that globe centered stuff? These are the saints that have fallen asleep. The saints of Jesus will return with his saint angels. It means set apart holy ones. It always has, it always will. This is the book of Revelation word. Peace be with all of the saints. Amen. Well, this letter was written to saints. They had not been raptured yet to become glorified saints with glorified bodies, the blah, blah, blah. Why can't we get this simple argument, the simple debate, the simple answer to a question, RJ?
Things aren't that simple. It's more complicated than that, huh?
It's not simple when, let's face it, they look at my views and say, saints means all the people that are called and set apart for Jesus Christ, and there's still no verse for it. And they see I'm getting 100 views, and they see, well, people like that new person could come out and mention the millennial reign and get 5,000. What are they going to do? They are going to keep going, well, I just am not sure what's post-mill, premillennial, or amillennial, but isn't this fascinating? Some people think that Gilgamesh hid in the ark or hung on. The nonsense has to quit. I'm saying it will quit, but what unfortunately the Lord is showing me, that these people will this narrow road, I don't think, is going to be taken serious until the first part of the country gets martial lawed.
And not that I'm complaining, but and I've said this a number of times, Satan does not receive the credit he truly deserves when it comes to deceiving. And that's a fact in my mind. And they don't, because he doesn't get the due credit, people don't take it as serious as what it truly is, I believe.
Well, I think you're basing that on the fact that we all raised our family to love and respect the Trinity. And now, as even though people would have considered us Bible thumping nuts all our life, we've really only started to study the scripture the last 4 or 5 years in a way that is like shocking. It was shocking to us. We're going like, well, how come nobody told us this?
Well, yeah, it's not taught that way in seminaries. So,
right. So, I mean,
when it comes to organized, Christianity, it's as or more corrupt as what the temple was when Jesus walked in there. It's all of that plus.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a special guest. Vaara from Finland is going to be reporting very soon. In the meantime, I want to go back over Genesis 6. We went over it last night, and I think with a little bit slower reading, without, you know, let's what do they do? Let's sex this up. Let's make it sexy. Let's lead with it bleeds, it's leading, you know. Like I said, we got the artifact in chapter 11 yesterday of First Corinthians, where it says the women were wearing coverings where Paul taught because of the angels, and he goes into lessons about the headship. But this is really Rob Skiba, all the other people. There's Giants, there's Atlantis. This was a cottage industry, and it's only based on these few chapters. Now, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives whomever they chose. And I pointed out Isaac took a wife, Jacob took a wife. This does not have to imply caveman like capturing of women by angels, of like, you're mine, you're beautiful, I want you. We have examples in the Bible of Abraham and Isaac, you know, pretending not to be married to their wives because they were in an area where people would kill them and take their wives. Isn't that correct, brother?
Yeah, it seems to be a reality of a scenario that could happen.
I believe the man's name was Abimelech. Is that, anyway, it was a king, something like that. And he saw, Rachel, and said, she's pretty, I'm going to marry her. And God had to intervene. They took whoever they chose. It's not necessarily, I'm an angel doing it, not based on this, but based on that in verse 3. So the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. This is when you're not going to be living in between 900 years, 800, 900 years. I want to, we'll take just a second here. As they say in where I live in the United States, south of the border, they would just say, un momento. That's kind of cool. So it's a regular man. My spirit will not strive with these men because their flesh, it's Adam. So it's not a big deal. It's talking about a man, not a demiurge. But something's weird because reference in 1 Corinthians 11, you're going to do this because of the angels. Keep your hair long and covered. Your flesh. It's talking about men. Big one. Now the Nephilim, we've shown this. It just means there were tall people on the earth in those days and after that as well. And today too, there's some Shaquille O'Neals and some Yao Mings that are over 7 feet tall. Well, they're tall people on the earth to this day. Now, when the Bene Israel had relations with the Adam's daughters, they bore them children that became Gibborim, Adam type men of old, men of renown. Let's see. This should be interesting. Is it going to be Ha-Adam again? How is that possible if they're demiurged? Maybe things were just evil in the time of Noah, like they are now. You can get abortion pills from Amazon. And these were the sons of God came in. Well, we could automatically assume that this is some sort of like angels are now able to mate on earth, but not in heaven. Or we could know that the two of every type of animal, you know, came onto the ark for Moses. Kidding. It's not Moses, it was Noah. So we're going to take a break now because
I
we
think
have
you have a guest.
we have a special treat now. We're joined by Vara from Finland, and he can give us an update of everything going on. Vara, how did
Yeah,
Vladimir
yeah.
Putin get 80% of the vote? In the United States, he's the epitome of Vladimir Lenin, a brutal dictator. What's going on over there in Europe, my man? Give us
Oh,
the whole
you said Putin.
spill your guts.
Well, yeah, I gathered some statistics here for an update to you, nice American people.
Thank you.
So we had a presidential selection, I think last month. Uh, can I share my screen? I want to show
Yes,
you guys something
yes.
about our new
How
president.
do I? Isn't there something there that says share
Yeah, let
screen?
me see. Yeah, I'll do it here.
And as soon as you click it, I'll click it, and now you can show your screen.
Okay, it's showing this one now. Wait. Okay, let me do it. Actually, do a little bit technical difficulties. So you guys know this one, right? The leak.
Kind of.
This
Kind
was
of
leaked
familiar
from the
with
FBI. They're
Yes.
basically telling you
Yeah,
like,
that goes back to the Pizzagate.
yeah. So they're telling you like
We
what
can't say
are
Pizzagate.
what are the symbols and logos for, these big elite people, how they communicate each other with, I want pizza, and they're really talking about little girls or boys.
Yeah,
But this is the one. Yeah, this is the one I want to show
FBI
you.
website.
Yeah. So you see this boy lover logo here, the blue triangle thing here, right? You see that?
Yep.
Here's our new president, selected by the CIA.
I
I
like
think.
that A
You
behind
see
him.
that? Yeah,
Yes.
that was his presidential campaign logo. And look at this guy. He looks like, man, such a, I don't even know the word for it. Like, just
Clone.
looks- Yeah, but here's our new president. And I was just wondering about this. Like, is this some kind of deal?
Right,
It
that's
they
the
have to
same
have-
logo.
Like, yeah, we'll give you this presidential
That's a
position, but you
sacred
have to put this.
spiral.
You have to
Farah,
put this
that's a
symbol in there.
sacred spiral for the Ute Indians in the area of Colorado where I live with. The one that says unclassified, that isn't, it's the LBL logo, the one in the middle, but next to the coin.
Yeah.
You could search right now, Ute spiral. So they are changing, they choose these things for the Lord knows why,
I think it's like a deal. It's like they're saying, "Hey, we'll give you this presidential position, but you have to wear this logo on your campaign."
Yeah,
Like,
because it
they
definitely
have to tell
doesn't
you.
mean, it means something new for us today than it did for the Ute Indians when they were leaving it on pictographs, carved on the rocks here in the mountains. Let's face it, there is something going on, and
Did I?
if this is a perfect time, since you brought it up,
I'm still going with my report.
You still have some more?
Yeah, just like
Okay, well,
brief.
you just hold on to it for a minute because
Yeah.
I want to tell you and show you. Let's see. It's shocking. Okay, was it last night? This. Have you ever heard of Professor Hamamoto? I know I've shared him with you, right, Randy?
I believe you have. I don't totally recall.
This
I
is a
never heard.
breakdown that I listened to while I was playing chess last night. The book Lolita, everybody's heard of that. I think that it's the most controversial book ever written. Uh, and it turns out the guy that wrote it, he's CIA, Project MK Ultra, based on a real case. And it's not only the little boys, it's the little girls. And it has been a part of our recent history. The child trafficking thing, this is not anything new. And so take it away, Vara. I just wanted to know that it's out there. I
Yeah,
haven't read the book, but I've seen the trailers and the previews and the breakdowns on. I know what that's about. What's going on in Europe, brother?
yeah.
Keep
Mel
keep
Gibson's
keep
making
rolling.
movies about that, so it's like it's a bad thing happening, but I like that people are waking up, to all this stuff going on. But yeah, we have a new president. We're still in NATO. They're, I think, on the process of establishing camps and bases around our country. And they're having, of course, military drills. Finnish people are just like, hey, welcome, come on. Yeah, we have a foreign nations military in our grounds preparing for war.
That's the
No
propaganda.
problem there. Huh?
It's the propaganda, and some people are turned off on it. Some people want to grab a gun and go fight and show off for mommy, and yeah, it
Follow
affects
the
everybody
money.
different.
Yeah. But, I still say that we're waking up in a good rate right now. It's good progress on that part. There's still this the one thing, like they're spraying our skies like I've never seen before. This one morning I wake up and the sky is like if you put a blank piece of white paper and you just put it in the sky, it's all white. It looks like the end of the world, really. I've never seen a blank, completely white sky spread across your whole field of view.
It wasn't a cloud.
Yeah, I don't think it was a cloud or contrail, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of propaganda there too, because they're
Yeah,
trying damage control. We still have about
unique.
they're putting 5G towers everywhere. We still have about 40% excessive death rate, highest in Europe, I think. We have about 1,000% increase in disease, cancer, and mental health diagnosis since the pandemic. Governments cutting social benefits for unemployed and families. They want to make it illegal for labor organizations and individual people to strike. They want to make it illegal for people to leave the reserve in the military.
No
And while
disruption.
all this shit's going on, they still have the gall, the audacity to claim that we're the happiest nation in the world. This is another. It's every year the same shit, man. It's like every time I
Yeah,
hear that, I just think, oh my God, I feel so bad for the second happiest nation
if
in
they
the world.
say it
Because they
often
must be
enough, people
miserable.
will believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Did you
asked a
see
thousand
that
people. Fuck it.
that short clip that Jimmy Dore put out with that Kennedy? I don't know who he was addressing, but talking all about BlackRock owning, the military industrial complex and just, you know, truth after truth. But
Yeah. Yeah, but people don't want to see it. They want to believe that there might be
yeah,
some hidden agenda.
Well,
it's
mean,
gonna,
they're
yeah,
going
even
to
disrupt.
our
believe it. They are going to have to believe it because this facade, this fake world where as of right now they're adding $1 trillion worth of debt and they're not comparing that to the
Every
rising our
100
dollar.
days.
They're printing that money and just adding it to a computer telling us we have the greatest economy under the dome on the whole flat earth and we should be appreciating it more because it's better than Trump, and we all know it's fake, yet we still vote, we still go on with life.
Yeah,
We
until
have
there's
to just
another
accept the
system
fact we're right.
that,
Something's going to happen. In the meantime, read the Bible, learn how to take care of your family. Go ahead. What's on your mind before
yeah.
we take a couple of
Speaking
questions?
of what's gonna happen, what do you guys think is up with this April 8th now? You guys have a solar eclipse there, and on the same day they're gonna start colliding atoms at CERN to create a Big Bang. Like, you can't write that shit. Why?
No.
How can they schedule it there like that at the same time? What do you think? What do you guys think is gonna happen? Is it like a event, some kind of premonition, prophecy, whatever?
Well, obviously the footage from the eclipse is going to confirm that we live in domed flat earth. It's going to be fun watching they twist it. There will be a lot of people predicting that we're going to be raptured in 2017. I still remember those two guys standing in the creek crying, "Why won't our family listen to us? We've decoded that the rapture's tomorrow." You know, they're still
Yeah.
making videos today.
and NASA is going to fire what 3 rockets with 5 heads on
Yeah,
each rocket,
it
wasn't
couldn't
it?
be more
On
crazy.
April 8th?
Yeah, during this eclipse over the United States.
Ah, that's a
As
nice
that takes,
coincidence.
yeah, well, it's a timing event. It's,
What the hell?
yeah, it's synchronized,
Yeah.
certainly.
They have to. It's the same reason that things are photoshopped. Now, I think that I saw that article here on this Drudge Report. It's really like a collection of, they try to trick you into going to sites that make you pay for an article. Hey, dude,
Mhm.
that says cicada on the thumbnail. 2 prime numbers are at play as trillions of bugs are going to swarm in a once every 221 years.
Oh, wow.
Normally, these cicadas come out there's 2 types, 2 large broods. Normally, they come out every 13 or every 17 years, respectively. But because they're prime numbers, they're going to, this is
Right.
every 221 years, they come out together. But they're not the harmful locust. These are only the loud locust that drives people crazy with their mating calls. So we got that going. Thought I'd pop that on you.
Yeah, many things happening at the same time. It's interesting.
What are you guys up to nowadays, Sparta base boy? Come on. Come on. You guys always over there. This how come you're the happiest country in the world? You got a small Finnish town on the border and
Yeah,
all
just
its
look at all
young
those
men.
smiling faces.
Look at them. They're
Yeah.
gunned up and ready to go, saying,
Yeah.
we're not, see this fearsome Finland Jaeger Brigade?
You're heading out?
They're not afraid of the Soviet Union.
And we don't,
Okay.
we definitely don't have the winter war spirit anymore.
No. You don't have the population to, let's say that Finland kicks butt and you kill 10-1. You lose that war. You lose that war in a month because they outnumber you that much. And you don't have that many men to spare.
Yeah, not even Finnish men anymore. We're having this population change agenda here, right? I think this year it really started to show in the statistics where uh, you have more foreign people coming in, like these healthy young military-aged men without their families. We've had that since 2015, like tens of thousands every year, and now it's showing like we're losing Finnish people and we're gaining all the other folks at a very
Yeah.
alarming rate.
Sure.
Part of Satan's deception is going to be for the nations to have each nation at the same time have what they think is an independent thought of, why is the world picking on my nations? The nations are deceived into thinking that, no, we really are special. Well, you're special in that you have a wicked and deceitful heart, just like every other human. We want to believe certain things. It's time to believe the Bible. So the Camp Sparta, everybody has their own heroic, memories of the children in Holland smuggling out the gold for the capital on their sleds, or at least they should if they're students of history. Every little country has their moment. The United States has been set up to be the they could have been the good prince, but we went all bad. The fact is that the roots of the United States are Roman Catholic, Freemason. You know, uh, this doesn't show up with my green screen, but I did get this book about, the craft, the history of the Freemasons. The subtitle is How the Freemasons Made the Modern World. Somebody asked about Satan Short Season. We absolutely, the whole period of this deception is the short season, but there was a time when Satan was released, and there had to be a group that formed the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians, twisted everything to say, we're going to imitate ISIS, it's going to be a trinity, this is going to work. And you know what, Vara, you know what, RJ, it's going to work. There will only be a narrow road of people that make it because they're one called, two chosen, and three faithful. Go ahead,
Yeah.
either one of
Mud
you.
blood survivors for
Who
the
wants to
next one.
talk about that?
Well,
Anybody?
I just
Any comment on that, brother? You go ahead. Because notoriously, that whole Finland area was once very, very Reformed Christian. Then something happened to where the point of right now, what is it? 0.03% of the people say, I believe in the Bible. It's not the most religious country you're living in right now, brother, even faking it.
yeah, I know. I think the religious part is like always been. We don't take religion so seriously, but I really believe most people here we have a good heart. We want to make good. We want to treat other people good.
Yeah.
But we're so through propaganda and indoctrination. Of course, it's psychological manipulation to the point where we're also self-centered right now and egotistical. Like even just this having these camera, everybody has a camera
Yeah.
now on their phone and they're taking pictures. Hey, look at me, I just put on some makeup. Hey, look at my meal I'm about to
Oh, I thought
enjoy
you were
and eat.
talking about the
Nobody
CC.
cares.
I thought you were talking about the CCC, or the closed circuit television cameras. You're talking about the people that, you know, honest, fair disclosure. I put out a picture of a hamburger when cell phones were new because I thought that was like, look what I'm eating, but it was to my wife. It wasn't to the eBay or
Yeah.
the
But it's just sad.
TikTok.
It's just sad to see this. Like we've always been very shy people, but now it's really
Well, I think that Finland, Saudi Arabia, most people have met people with good hearts. And I think that most humans, you know, left to their own devices, I don't think that I think the sins of this world are more like Noah and what we look back at, and they were worshiping false gods in the time of Jesus in Jerusalem. I think we're tons worse than they were. It seemed like their leadership were doing it, but what they've done through the propaganda in at least the United States is that if a young child makes it through high school and is still a virgin, there's something wrong with her. She should be ashamed. She would never admit it, even though, uh, when I was dating my wife, I maybe knew a few of the last virgins in the world, but they did not want, if anybody said, how come you hang out with these guys? Yeah, and I would say, well, I like to hang out with virgins. That proves that they've been trusting God all their life. And they go, oh, don't tell people we're virgins.
Right. Comparing dick sizes and things like that.
And that has made us who we are today, because when you're encouraged by TV that you start, whenever your cousins get together, oh, take a picture of them kissing, and by the 8, 9, 10 years old, based on what I've seen, what they see on their cell phone, the average fifth grader can write a book report on bestiality. People want to act like, we're still kind of Leave It to Beaver, when the people that choose what the Bible says is wrong for their marriage lifestyle is up to like 20% right now. And it's only going up, and the family is going down, because it's a very wide road that's going to lead to destruction. Any comments? Either one of you got the
Well, I have more of a question, or maybe an observation. I think where you're located, due to you're somewhat secluded, and as a country there, I think has been relatively, what do you call it, neutral as far as being involved in much of anyone else's affairs.
Hmm.
I'm curious if you've noticed any sort of transition with what was kind of a national attitude, with what you were describing, with the influx of foreigners now, particularly that are at this military type age bracket, and what that may represent. I'm just curious, as far
Well,
as your observations
yeah.
as being a citizen there, and living it.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. Most people don't, but it's just because they don't really, they don't tell you about it in the media. They just say, "Oh, there's a war here and there. They want to come seek asylum," but nobody looks at the facts. Like, wait a minute, these are all just military-age men. And I've been thinking about that many times. Like, man, I really just hope that these are not like some extremist religious people who have
They are.
some. Well,
I'm
that's
sorry,
what
they
that's
are.
what I'm afraid of, man. That's why I'm
It's what
concerned
they
about it,
are.
because if they have like some sort of storage of like weapons somewhere, and they have a secret plan between each other, like, yeah, we're just waiting for the order or the event or something of that nature to happen, so we can start, spreading shit down. I don't know, man. I really don't know
But
what's going to happen with that.
no, they haven't heightened any awareness to these facts that have been slowly increasing, the presence of this activity.
I think people see it, but subconsciously they're just not there. They don't, they're so in their own lives. They have work, they have families, they have to go to,
Compartmentalized. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They have to study. They have so busy lives, but of course, the root problem is that the system has created it that way, so that we feel obligated to
You
keep
kind of
going to work and pay
hypnotized to
taxes
it.
and keep, using our energy and time so we can have worthless digital numbers added to our bank accounts. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing,
Sure.
is such a large dynamic problem. But I think that, with time, people start waking up. They start talking to each other more. Finnish people, very authoritative people. We really believe in authority, and we really we're really
And
easy to be
respect the authority.
suggestible to
Yep.
that way
Yeah,
they can.
the world is waking up too that the national traditions and everything, they've all been supplied to us. It's hard. Where are people at? Do they know about the orphan trains? Do they know that there's people suspect that, as recently as after World War II, they were lobotomizing people that are going, we're saying like, my parents told me the earth's flat, in 3 different languages.
Right.
So, we live in crazy times, and I that's why I encourage people, trust the Bible. I've honestly had that comforting spirit, tell me, it's, not audibly, but the way God does it is that everything that Jesus ever said was true. And there are a lot of people interested in it. I want people to be full into it.
That's another. I see that map you showed. I've seen many maps, like from the 16, 15, 1400s, even later. Like, you have a bunch of dragons and
Yeah.
mythical creatures. They're like everywhere, really. Urbano Monte, that's my favorite map of
There's
all
a
time, I think.
share. Which one?
Urbano Monte, that's like 1458, something like that. Some Italian guy.
Magnus
Yeah.
Carlsen. He's the great chess player. He must have been named after Magnus Ericsson.
He just lost to a 9-year-old, by the way.
I saw that. He was not very happy. Do you have a computer rating for chess?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't deal with that. I don't have the brain for it.
Oh, you come on. It's just repetition.
Yeah, I know.
Look at that. He's insulting the corpse of his enemy. Well, they dressed funny back then. Randy, did you see that question? What was the mark of the beast? If the short season's already over, is this one?
Yeah.
This one we saw?
Oh, yeah. Should it matter?
The dragon.
No.
What difference
Yeah.
does it make? There were already many antichrist loose back then. You're gonna lose that argument, my friend. You got nothing.
That's another
Yeah.
thing that's being hidden from us. It's like we almost every week you find some artifact or some thing in the ground somebody finds. It's not supposed to. It doesn't fit the narrative that
Right.
we're like only a few 100-year-old culture. Everything, every finding that we make is like leading us to the fact that we're like one of the oldest cultures in Europe.
Did you ever? You saw this picture. I used it on a.
Oh, hats. Them are hats.
These are
Your head
hats,
cover.
And these are lunar and solar calendars. And it's what they wore, these 4 gold hats. They found one in France in 1844, one in southern Germany or Switzerland in 96, another, and 2 more in Germany, one in 1835. But, so they're still kind of finding them as late as 96 and 1953. And the doggone things are calculators,
I just see phallus worship when I look at those.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not what they were for. They, if anything, they worshipped the nipples because all of their armor had for men, it was just like an emphasis on the nipples. But yeah, they were they
They're not
the
terminals for electrodes or whatever.
No, absolutely not.
But the question on the mark, and if it, speculating if it's a number, I don't see where, when it comes to like branding or that, where there'd be a logo, whether it's like a CERN or a Google style, like a registered trademark, it could be something as simple as that.
Right. To me, a mark of the beast for our current age could be, if you believe the earth is a globe, take 1 step forward. Good. You got the mark of the beast. The beast would have you believe that don't trust the Bible, something to that Darwinism, or
Sure.
nipplage. And if you read some weird things going on, kings would make the other kings they defeated suck their nipple. You think that's crazy, but that's what these guys did. The Urnfield, and it wasn't like they couldn't get it done. I should want to show you this one picture of a chariot. They found all the parts and they put it back to, or they found a model of it. They have so many things. There's so many pictures. This is for a horse. It's a bridle. Females had their nipples emphasized also. Here's the golden hat thing. The Berlin golden hats covered in bands of ornaments or symbols, concentric circles, sometimes wheels, crescents, ovals, triangles. And it wasn't these represented the lunar calendars. That's unbelievable to me.
Why you gotta make it a penis though?
Mm-hmm. When
I
size
don't
matters.
Yeah. They knew it back then, even.
Yeah. They might have, how are you going to make that small? If you're trying to show that, it,
All the detail.
that because.
Well, you can put that like in a circle or a spiral too, like the Mayans did.
Let's see. See, now here's the Berlin golden hat. It almost has to be this big because they have it broke down for time zones and everything else. That each one of those dots and each thing were, the Druid golden hats of the Urnfield culture. If anybody wants to check it out, I'm not saying it just doesn't look like my penis. That's what I'm saying. Did you see this, Randy? Found a picture. the Mazda press.
It's very depressing.
It extruded the metal. This is what World War II was all about. You didn't have to rivet anymore. I think the mafia in Germany wasn't sharing its new technology that they showed off. This is a picture of them showing off this at the famous 1936 Olympics.
Extremely effective. Yeah.
That's an interesting.
The 3 circles. Yeah.
This is what the Toyota, the Toyota symbol for a car is actually 3 rings.
Yeah, they made them oval, but yeah, it's
in 3D.
still
If you would see it spinning, there it is again. That's just the size of that thing. Russia captured it and took it back to Moscow. What did just as and be honest with me. I don't know if you saw this, Vara, but I honestly feel that one of my last, things that the Lord wants me to get out, keep working on the stones crying out, keep teaching premillennialism. But I also want women to know that once the martial law and everything, and it's, we're back to living like refugees and not being propped up with this fake money. Why does the government show you love? It's because it'll hurt more when they take it away. When you come together, do this and that.
Well, yeah, it's like going back to the pandemic.
Okay, yeah, because but I also, what do you think about just on its face value? Does nature itself teach you that if a man has long hair, it is a disgrace to him? But if a woman has long hair, it is her glory?
Well, well, I wouldn't take anything literally, like from the Bible or anything like that. I believe that having long hair is like just part of growing your energy field. I think our hair is like an antenna for the ether or whatever you want to call it. But it's like, I think you can, closen your relationship with nature with long hair. I think it's just a ideology thing with masculine, feminine. Like, oh, you're not supposed to have long
the
hair.
Nazarenes certainly let it grow.
Jesus had long hair too, man. It's like, yeah.
I think that, well, like I said, I really think that this is something that we need to take serious. I've heard all the too, corn roll your hair, save it, because and I know that your eyelashes are as much of an antenna as a spider's. They might be all you
Right.
need, because the Bible certainly wants men to keep their hair short and women to keep their hair long, because it goes on to say for long hair was given to her for a covering. And it talks about, men and women are equal. Men weren't made, a man ought not to cover his head, since he is the image and glory of God, but woman is the glory of man. For man did not come from woman, but woman came from man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. For this reason, a woman ought to have a sign of authority on her head because of the angels. Either one of you, and then, but Randy,
It's just
Your
an
thought.
interesting word, sign of authority. Like, how do you interpret that?
because I teach that our ultimate authority is Jesus Christ. And men who trust the Bible realize that they are responsible for that family as much as they were responsible for Eve eating the fruit. Man did not eat, woman did. Man rightfully takes the blame, and women are off the hook. They didn't, hey, my husband could have stopped me. And that is the tension, because in the feminist world, they would be saying, I don't need Adam to take the fall for me. I did it. But we never hear that. We don't hear that. We always hear men are the problem. Men and women have equally a sin problem where we're born with a wicked and despicable heart. Men and women are both ultimately under the authority of Jesus Christ. Men don't ovulate, men don't menstruate. Men have never been kept off of prison, a death row, because they killed their husband, and their reason for not having to go to prison was they proved their hormones were acting up. We live in a world where men are all of a sudden, through propaganda, the dumbasses of the world. That's my opinion. What do you guys got?
Well, it's global.
Behind-
It's global. It's worldwide, man.
Behind every successful man, there's a woman.
Uh-huh.
Behind every successful supermodel is the husband waiting to divorce her, not caring how much it costs. She gets $1 billion, give it to her, get her out of my life. We got to quit pretending that, men are the problem. The way the men are supposed to behave, taught in the Bible, is not the problem. It is the solution.
Well, yeah, men not accepting the responsibilities is what the issue, problem.
Right. And I think that, honestly, why did the Amish, why did the Mennonite, why did the Hutterite, why did the other people at the start of what, we're saying was the short season, 1711 through 2046, why did they start out and still persist on saying, well, if the Bible teaches we should wear a head covering, I'm going to do it because of the angels, when we still can't figure out Genesis 6? It doesn't look that bad to me. It just seems like it's more of the Bible, and the Bible doesn't go on to make a big deal. Don't forget Genesis chapter 6, there's demon blood out there, fallen angels, Nephilim, which is nonsense. Somebody bail me out. I feel like I'm yapping too much, and I do want to wrap this up in about the next 15 minutes. I've got to study for a test at 10 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah, Jesus himself explained that when he was confronted of, the nonsense scenario about the 7 brothers that all had the same wife, and no one had any children, with her, and what was going to happen. And then Jesus explained, what goes on here, in earth isn't, what goes on in heaven at all. Not even close.
Yeah, people are in heaven, going up to a girl going like, come here often. It's not that. It's not that
No.
at all. Vara, any final thoughts from you?
Well, I'll just go back real quickly to the hair thing, like you said. Like, maybe you're wondering, why do people have dreadlocks, right?
Yeah.
I think
When
it's like,
I've hung out with some dreadlock people that you would not believe, man.
oh, I'm sure, but I think there's a theory there that they don't really realize that why they're doing it. But like Tesla coil, if you take copper wires and you make dreadlocks like that, it actually strengthens the energy field.
I
So
believe
think that's
that.
why I think
I
it's
believe that.
logical. That's why they do it.
Right.
But-
And I think I'll close with my take on that is, then the rest of your life you better exhibit complete Nazarene type vow living. You don't just tell me I like long hair and wearing my cap backwards, I'm a Nazarene. That's bullshit. Nazarenes got a lifestyle to live up to and to be emulated, that people that don't have, that are just, aren't gifted in that area, because everybody has different callings. Not everybody's called to be a Nazarene that's my dedicated life. Some people are called to, with the gift of hospitality, of, things like that, of caring, of organization, and whatever women are, their gifts are, can be phenomenal too. Read Proverbs. So that's my thing, is that, yeah, we've got a problem, and the problem is the family that the Bible teaches is the answer. And we're being inundated with a mindset that a Christian mom has done her duty when she's had a boy and a girl. 2 kids, that's enough. You get snipped, we can start enjoying sex. Let's try some vibrating sex toys and let's get it on, because then your eyes are not on Jesus. Dwell not long where the baby breaks forth. It's, I will give you guys any final words, because that was quite a mouthful.
Good stuff,
No,
man. Family, grow your own food, unity.
Sounds
out
like
of-
good advice to me.
Yeah, get out of negative beliefs and, thought patterns. If you don't
Right.
program your own mind, somebody's going to program it for you. And I think we're living in a very energetic, dynamic system that we don't really understand with our 5 senses. But I think Tesla said it best. If you think about the universe in terms of sound and frequency, and I would even add symbolism to that equation, you're really gonna start understanding like how things really work here. I think your subconscious is your most powerful tool in this reality. Use it to make your own best life.
Amen.
That's my advice.
Okay. I would say that is awesome. Thank you, Varya. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Look forward to seeing you again soon, and take care. And
Yeah, when it comes to April Fool's Day, this is the day that was made for atheists.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year, by the way, guys. Happy New Year.
and so stick around for just 1 second, because I want you to hear this, Vara, that I'm not saying that men, this veil is being lifted. These things are being revealed. I'm not saying that all of a sudden, because this week the Lord has renewed my interest in head coverings, that all men should just go out and cut off their top lock. Let's don't rush into that. But let's start thinking about everything else. Because what Vara's talking about was true. We're living in weird times. Our governments are not to be trusted. That's the truth. I'm thinking they can trust the Bible. Any last words, Brother Randy?
Oh, no, it's a brand new month. Yeah, we'll see what, it may be an exciting month,
That's
not that
right.
I'm forecasting, predicting, but yeah, keep your guard up. Definitely.
7 more weeks of school for me. It's a flat earth nation. The golden age is past. Never going to tell you anything else except mud flood was Armageddon, because we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho, aloha, arriva, derji, ciao, sayonara, avida, say.